have our problems, but you've seen that the indicators have improved. Even look at maternal mortality, child mortality, infant mortality. You've seen that the rates have really improved over the years. And we are getting closer to the MDGs. We may not have met it. Our biggest challenge now is maternal mortality. We have made inroads, there's no doubt about it, because let's compare what we had before and what obtains now. When you look at before 1994, if you remember 1993, when we did the census, if you remember, we had 1,050 per 100,000 live births before then. And in 2003, when we did the census, again 10 years later, it was brought down, yes, to 730. And I'm being told in 1996, just recently, in 2008 rather, and 2006, between 2006 and 2008, it came down drastically to 556 per 100,000 live births. Is that not progress? Yes. Less women are dying, but the president says he's not complacent, because all the same, that 556 is human beings dying. So he's not complacent. He doesn't want even one single woman to die. And that is why he decided to make health services free for pregnant and lactating mothers as well. Pregnant women and lactating mothers and infants. Free medical services in the Gambia.
In the security services, the government is fulfilling its commitment to increase recruitment of women into the police force, immigration, and the military as well. Women serve as officers and their ranks range from sergeant to colonel. They also participate fully in peacekeeping missions and have made their mark in former hotspots like Sierra Leone, Liberia, East Timor, and Sudan's restive Darfur region.
His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Gambia Armed Forces, is giving us room to serve our nation, not only being mothers at home, but to participate in the peace building and peace support mission within our continent.
At the level of central government, the Ministry of Trade through GamJobs is providing employment for Gambian youth with special focus on young women. The community-driven development project CDDSP's grant administered by the Women's Bureau disburses funds for small-scale programs that have a bearing on the welfare of women.
Well, currently in the Gambia we have a project, CDDP. Actually, it's the communities that sit and identify their needs.
What CDDP means, madam?
Community demand-driven project. Okay. What that project does is it allows the community themselves to decide to do a mapping, do a needs assessment of what they actually need, prioritize, cost the activity they have prioritized, and then actually have a committee that supervises implementation and a committee that monitors. And then their money is in an account that is at the regional level. in short, what that approach does is it gives the people that needs to be empowered the opportunity to decide how they should be empowered. Now, if this is the new approach now, therefore it is important that women are in those decision-making positions at that lower level, without which they will miss out.
Gambian women are making strides within the judicial sector. Many women now hold high-ranking positions as lawyers, magistrates and judges, among others.
We have the health sector, the education sector, the agriculture sector that are competing with other sectors. But that notwithstanding, government has been committed and has been addressing most of our needs. Therefore, it is time that we look inwards as lawyers, as judges, as magistrates, as support staff in ensuring that we deliver, and we deliver honestly, with integrity, and with dedication.
The Gambia, like other African countries, is making giant steps in building consensus and support for the implementation of the 12 critical areas of concerns of the Beijing Platform for Action. The government, in collaboration with development partners, have also put in place measures to improve the participation of women in democratic political elections. The result of this collaboration was the participation of women in elections at local level, and 15 of them got elected.
When you look at the lower levels of government, the decentralized levels, just take it as an example, the last local government elections, we fielded 20 women in this country. But as a result of sensitization with the assistance of the United Nations agencies, we were able to have 15 women win their seats. Is that not progress? That was not thought of in the past, putting women in those positions. And yet that's the government that's closer to the people. That's the people's government. So therefore, that shows that we are making our mark.
The National Assembly of the Gambia has approved in April 2010 the Women's Bill, which is another landmark in the history of Gambian women.
The objective of the Women's Bill is to ensure the effective implementations of national and international agreed conventions. It seeks to incorporate and domesticate both the UN Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women and the African Union Protocol on the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the rights of women in Africa for the effective protection of women and girls' rights. Honorable Speaker, these human rights instruments that have already been ratified by the Gambia and all other relevant documents, treaties and conventions signed and agreed by government are incorporated in the bill.
The economic empowerment of women is paramount for sustainable economic growth.
One of the areas we have always talked about in gender is gender budgeting. That we have to look at budgets, whether they are going to the private sector, and even a company, if you are budgeting. You have to look at what do we do to mainstream gender matters in the budget. That's number one. And when we do that, then more resources perhaps would go to women in agriculture if most of the areas of agriculture are occupied by women. I've given you examples. I've said women are rearing small ruminants, they're into horticulture and food processing and so many things. Yes. So we should put the resources there to make a difference. Don't put it in the wrong place. If you give it to people who don't produce much, whose productivity are low, obviously